Hello, I want to talk about this in defense of Kenneth Copeland. You know, there are a lot of videos on YouTube that Kenneth Copeland has between 600 million and $2 billion in the bank. That's his net worth. I don't know. But the inference is that he got all that money. The inference is that he got all that money from exploiting poor people who are looking for hope. Poor people, middle class people who donate to the ministry, and he just exploited them all of his life. Okay. In defense of him, this is what I would like to say. I used to be a partner with Kenneth Copeland Ministries, and when you're a partner with them, you get to know something about the head of the ministries. And he said when him and Gloria first got married, they made a vow to each other that they would not get in any type of debt whatsoever. They would never get in debt for anything. I mean, not for cars, homes, clothes, nothing. And so that's part of the reason why he has some money. If I had not ever gotten into debt for anything whatsoever, I would have some decent money in the bank. And I'm talking about going to stores, because back then each store had a credit card. Like ABC Clothing, you got a credit card from ABC Clothing. If I hadn't just paid cash for clothing, and don't even mention furniture. If I had just paid cash for the furniture, cash for the clothing, I'd be so much better off. Just pay cash for everything. I would have some money in the bank too. Okay, if I had never bought clothing on credit, a car on credit, and the house on credit, I have something in the bank. I have something to this day in the bank. But see, you got to have an understanding husband that would agree with you. Or if in Kenneth Copeland's case, he had an understanding wife that agreed with him to do that. If you can forget about the boyfriend issues. If your girlfriend and boyfriend, y'all not going to agree on nothing. Separate income, separate banks. Bye. Okay, but if you are married, you have to have some agreement. Okay, we're not going to get into debt for any reason whatsoever. If you don't have that, it's not going to work. If you don't have an understanding spouse. But like I said, if I had done that, I would have some decent money in the bank to this day. If I had just disciplined myself to save $25 a month since the time I was 16, I'd have some decent amount of money in the bank to this day. Okay, so you can't really fault him from having some money. He just didn't get into debt. He saved himself a lot of interest. The Bible says the borrower is servant to the lender. He saved himself a lot of interest by not getting into debt. A lot of ministries do borrow. They borrow to have television time. They borrow to have a chandelier. And they are in debt. And sometimes they go under because of the debt. I have seen that happen a lot of times. Too many times. Okay, and then some get into a lot of debt and they put so much pressure on the congregation to pay off the debt. I've seen that plenty of times too. But it's not his fault if they decide to just pay cash for everything. It's wisdom. If you look at their 10 days of prosperity that Miss Gloria did with George Pearson, 10 days of prosperity, they talk about debt. They talk about sowing and not getting into debt for any reason. And then she did a few videos with her husband, Kenneth Copeland, and they talk about the fact that they decided early on in their marriage not to borrow for any reason whatsoever. Okay, so that's why they have some money in the bank. But like I said, you have to look at the videos to understand that. 10 days of prosperity. But I don't see what he did wrong. If he decided not to be in debt for the duration of his life, and she decides to agree with him for the duration of his life, not to ever get in debt. I don't see what is so wrong with that. I really don't. But like I said, if I had done that, I'd be in much better financial condition if I decided no debt for any reason whatsoever. And if I had just disciplined myself to save $25 a month at least, I'd be in so much better financial condition. So in defense of Kenneth Copeland, it's not his fault that him and Gloria decided to not get into debt for any reason. Okay, that's why they have so much wealth. That's one of the reasons why. Have a nice day.